Have you ever noticed something strange? The smartest person in the room is often the quietest. Not the one talking the most, not the one trying to impress everyone, just watching. At first, people mistake them for being shy, awkward, or lacking confidence. But what if their silence isn't weakness? What if it's the biggest advantage they have? Because the truth is, silence can reveal a level of intelligence that words often hide. And once you understand why, you'll never look at quiet people the same way again. Imagine two people walking into a meeting. The first starts talking immediately. They share every opinion, interrupt conversations, and make sure everyone notices them. The second barely says anything. They observe. They listen. They notice who interrupts, who gets ignored, who seems nervous, and who is pretending to be confident. An hour later, everyone remembers the loud person, but the quiet person remembers everyone. That's the difference. Most people believe intelligence is about having the right answers. In reality, it's often about asking the right questions. And you can't ask great questions if you're too busy talking. Psychologists have long known that our brains learn far more while listening than while speaking. When you're talking, you're repeating what you already know. When you're listening, you're collecting information you didn't have before. Think about it. Every conversation is like a puzzle. Most people rush to place their own pieces on the table. Smart people wait until they've seen the whole picture. That's why they often stay quiet. Not because they have nothing to say, but because they're deciding if saying anything is even worth it. There's another reason that's even more surprising. The smartest people understand something called the illusion of knowledge. The moment you become convinced you're right about everything, you stop learning. That's why truly intelligent people are comfortable saying, "I don't know." To some people, those three words sound weak. In reality, they are one of the strongest sentences a person can say, because admitting uncertainty creates room for growth. Pretending to know everything creates room for mistakes. Now here's something you've probably experienced. Have you ever argued with someone who never stopped talking? No matter what evidence you showed them, they already had another answer ready. They weren't trying to understand, they were trying to win. Smart people usually aren't interested in winning conversations. They're interested in discovering what's true. And those are two completely different goals. Silence also gives you something incredibly valuable: control. The less people know about your thoughts, your plans, or your emotions, the harder you are to manipulate. This is why experienced negotiators often pause before answering, why skilled leaders don't react instantly, why chess masters spend more time thinking than moving. A pause feels uncomfortable, but inside that silence, better decisions are being made. Here's a simple experiment. The next time someone asks you a difficult question, don't answer immediately. Wait 3 seconds. You'll notice something fascinating. The other person often starts talking again. They reveal more information. Sometimes they even answer their own question. Silence has a strange effect. People naturally try to fill it, and in doing so, they often reveal exactly what they're thinking. But there's one misconception we need to clear up. Being quiet doesn't automatically make someone smart. Some people stay silent because they're afraid. Others because they don't care. The difference is intention. Fear hides. Intelligence observes. One avoids speaking because they're worried. The other chooses the perfect moment because timing matters. That's a completely different kind of silence. History is full of people who understood this. Many great scientists, inventors, and leaders weren't remembered for speaking the most. They were remembered for thinking differently. They listened. They reflected. Then, when they finally spoke, people paid attention, because their words carried weight. And maybe that's the biggest lesson of all. In a world where everyone is fighting to be heard, the rarest skill isn't speaking louder. It's knowing when silence says more than words ever could. So the next time you meet someone who doesn't rush to speak, don't assume they have nothing to offer. They might simply be doing something most people forgot how to do: thinking. Because intelligence isn't measured by how much you say. Sometimes it's measured by everything you choose not to say.